Imagine a nation of 1.4 billion people, a rising titan on the global stage, charging headlong into the 21st century with the ambition of a superpower. It is a vision of progress, of high-speed rails, massive tech hubs, and a manufacturing sector intended to rival the world. But look closer. Beneath the surface of this glittering dream, the very foundation is starting to crack. This is the story of a system on the brink of total collapse. This is the story of the Indian power grid. Most people think a blackout is a temporary inconvenience, a few hours of candles and silence. But in India, the power grid is facing a systemic rot that threatens to derail its entire economic future. We are trying to build the infrastructure of a superpower, but a populist promise of free electricity is ensuring the foundation is already rotting from within. The math simply does not add up. And the consequences, they are already starting to haunt the streets of New Delhi, Mumbai, and the industrial heartlands. But before we get to the chaos, we have to understand the sheer scale of the machine we are dealing with. India operates one of the largest synchronous power grids in the world. It is a marvel of engineering, a web of copper and steel that keeps the lights on for 1/6 of humanity. To make this work, power is generated in massive plants, transmitted over thousands of miles, and finally distributed to your home by companies known as discoms, or distribution companies. These discoms are the front line of the energy war. They are the ones who buy power from generators and sell it to you. But here is where the story takes a dark turn. These companies are drowning. They are buried under a mountain of debt so high it threatens to crush the entire banking sector. We are talking about over $70 billion in losses. But why? How can a business that sells the one thing everyone needs, electricity, be failing so spectacularly? The answer is a lethal combination of technical failure, systemic theft, and most importantly, political suicide. You see, in India, electricity isn't just a utility, it's a political weapon. For decades, politicians have discovered a magic formula to win elections. Promise the voters free power. It sounds like a dream. No more bills, more money in your pocket. But in reality, it is a ticking time bomb. When a state government promises free power to farmers or low-income households, someone still has to pay the bill. The generators at the coal plants don't work for free. The engineers maintaining the lines don't work for free. So the state government promises to pay the discoms the difference. But here is the problem. They often don't. The governments are broke, the discoms are broke, and the grid is left to starve. But it gets worse. Because the discoms have no money, they cannot maintain the equipment. Transformers blow up under the summer heat because they haven't been serviced in years. Lines sag and break. The system becomes inefficient, losing nearly 20% of its power to what experts call aggregate technical and commercial losses. In most developed nations, that loss is below 5%. In India, it's a hemorrhage. And it's not just technical failure. A massive chunk of that loss comes from kadias, illegal wire hooks that bypass meters to steal electricity directly from the lines. This is the part nobody talks about. In many regions, the culture of not paying has become so normalized that the power companies are essentially working for a ghost economy. But surely there is a limit, right? We are now reaching that limit. The escalation is here. As India's economy grows, the demand for power is skyrocketing. During the brutal heat waves of the last few years, the demand hit record highs. When everyone turns on their air conditioners at once, the grid gasps for air. If the discoms can't afford to buy more power because they are already $80 billion in debt, the only option left is load shedding. That is a polite term for forced blackouts. This isn't just about losing your Netflix connection. Think about the hospitals. Think about the cold storage for food. Think about the factories. If India wants to be the next global manufacturing hub, it needs quality power, stable, reliable, and consistent. But who would build a billion-dollar chip factory in a place where the voltage fluctuates like a heartbeat in a panic attack? This is the invisible cost of free power. It is driving away the very industries that could pull millions out of poverty. Now, this changes everything. You might think the solution is simple. Just stop giving away free power and fix the meters. But here is the twist, the part that makes this a Greek tragedy. The free power trap is a political dead end. Any politician who tries to raise electricity rates to reflect the actual cost of production is effectively committing political suicide. The moment you ask people to pay for what they've been told is free, you lose the next election. It's a race to the bottom where everyone is trying to outpromise the other. But here is the problem we can't ignore. The money has to come from somewhere. Since the discoms can't charge the voters, they overcharge the industries. India has some of the highest industrial electricity tariffs in the world. We are literally taxing our growth to pay for a populist promise. This creates a vicious cycle. High power costs make Indian products more expensive. That means fewer jobs. Fewer jobs mean more people need government support. More support means more promises of free stuff. The snake is eating its own tail. And don't think green energy is the easy escape. India is making massive strides in solar and wind power, which is incredible. But the grid doesn't care where the power comes from if the pipes are broken. You can have all the solar farms in the world, but if the distribution companies can't afford to pay the solar developers, the investment dries up. We are seeing a silent crisis of the transformer blowouts and the substation failures that no one is reporting on because it's become part of daily life. But as the temperature rises and the economy tries to leap forward, the tension is reaching a breaking point. This is the part nobody talks about, the banking system. Because the power sector is so heavily indebted, many of India's biggest banks are exposed to these failing discoms. If the power sector collapses, it could take the financial sector down with it. It's not just a blackout, it's a potential economic heart attack. So, what is the insight here? It's that you cannot build a first-world economy on a third-world energy policy. The physics of electricity do not care about political manifestos. Power costs money. Maintenance costs money. Innovation costs money. India is at a crossroads. It can continue down the path of populist handouts, keeping the lights on with high-interest loans and crumbling infrastructure until the entire system goes dark. Or it can make the hard choice. The choice to treat electricity like the precious resource it is, to invest in the grid, to stop the theft, and to realize that free is often the most expensive price of all. The world is watching. If the lights go out in India, the global economy feels the shadow. The next time you see a headline about India's record-breaking growth, remember, the cost of free power might just be the future of the nation itself. The price of free.